So today we're reviewing The Man from U.N.C.L.E, Guy Ritchie's new film, starring the current Superman and Armie Hammer, based on the 1960s TV show. I think it's got Hugh Grant as well in it. It looks really good for a film set in the 1960s, I think, because it's set in that era as well. Has a nice little look about it, but. Well, yeah. Well, let's start off with your what was your first take on it?
Well, my first take on it is it's back to the real spy espionage film. I mean, we've got loads of spy films out at the moment.
Yeah.
But this is
Kingsman as well recently.
This really has the classic feel of real spy stuff. It isn't really that much. It's more of a traditional in many ways, but it's really got a good feeling. Even from like the outset, straight away you've got the credits coming up, and you've got newspaper articles of World War II stuff going on, I think it is, and nuclear weapons productions, and sort of who's going to be in power, who's going to have the power over the whole world. So you're thrown straight into this. This time where actually there's a lot of powers under quite a lot of stress, and Britain is still on top in this era as well. So that's a really great thing as well.
It's good to see. It's good to see like an old school spy film, but it looks really good. Guy Ritchie's direction obviously is always good. When he did stuff like Lock, Stock and Two Smoking Barrels, the whole start, the Snatch franchise of the film as well. Even the first Sherlock Holmes film, they will look amazing, don't they? Even though they're set in kind of like olden days, shall we say?
Oh yeah, it's definitely nothing aged about it. I mean, you could easily be set in modern times, apart from the gadgets that they use are a bit old school. But that's part of the plot as well. Even the old James Bond, it was all about gadgets, and Man from U.N.C.L.E, the original, I think, was probably about gadgets sometimes as well. So it's got a bit of a running joke of the two main protagonists sort of battling against each other for, trying to be top dog, sort of a masculine sort of I'm the best sort of thing going on. And one of them,
they do, don't they?
So
they're good chemistry as well, the two of them together.
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't too bad. I mean, it's a very typical thing to do in films, I think, is to have this oddball couple that are always arguing. It's really overdone, frankly, but they've done it really well in this film, and it actually seems to be in place in this film. Even though they could have probably done with less of it, they probably could have done it without it, but I think it probably harkens back to the original series as well, as far as I know.
It does, yeah.
I mean, it's the two main characters from the original, but this is actually a prequel this time. This is a reboot, origin story
of the TV show.
Because we all love origin stories.
But it's good to see. So you've got to start from scratch, and I think they've handled that bit well. Kind of like coming up with the whole world, kind of changing it so we understand where the man from U.N.C.L.E kind of started off, the whole kind of the thing behind it, the intelligence and stuff. Yeah. So
I mean, even though I knew what Man from U.N.C.L.E is vaguely, I still sort of a newbie to it, and the film really caters well to newbies as well. I mean, it's not trying to explain a Man from U.N.C.L.E story. I didn't even realise where we were starting off. I thought, I don't know what these characters are really, where they're coming from, because they're not part of the British CIA or British MI5, MI6, whatever it is.
Yes.
Straight away, so I'm just thinking, are these new characters? What's going on? But by the end, it all ties together. With the British Man from U.N.C.L.E team. So you can enjoy this without being
without seeing the TV show.
Fan.
That's the key thing here.
Easily.
It's not like Entourage, the film, where you have to have seen it and to enjoy it, or Veronica Mars. This is kind of a show where you can not have seen the show and still enjoy the kind of the set pieces we're about to see. I think the action and stuff. Guy Ritchie does a great job directing films. Anyway, I felt it was just a bit bit lackluster in places. The two characters, they were great together. I love Hugh Grant in a lot of stuff, so he's always good to see.
It's true.
Just something quite wasn't there. Just it's odd to put your finger on. It kind of just didn't mash together when they all start doing something.
I didn't get that feeling. I found it quite refreshing the way they did the action, really. The big chase sequence is really good. The thing they do miss out on is the sort of shooting
Yes,
sort of
there's no,
big
like...
people shootout thing, and they just totally skip that.
Yeah.
If you want spoilers, I guess if you're watching this, you might want spoilers. I mean, there's a great sequence where they're storming I think it's a aircraft carrier, and they've got all these agents with them. They're going to help. They're going to storm in, get the two main guys in there, and then they're going to do their job. And traditionally, if it was a James Bond movie, you would have got the full action sequence of people being shot, falling off balconies, that sort of thing. But strangely, they just sort of skipped that. But it's strange that might be a disappointing point, but actually there was a really exciting bit, the way they did it. With this, they did a sort of 24 style or traditional Man from U.N.C.L.E. style sort of montage, where they sort of show the passage of getting in there, but they do it all in sort of clips as a montage, like on different parts of the screen, and they've got this big build-up music, and it gets really exciting. It's like, oh yes, this is a really good build-up, and I really like that. But the only thing is that once it gets in there, suddenly all that build-up is for nothing, because it's just like suddenly quiet, and they just get straight to the point. So yeah, it's a mixed bag. But there's some things you can really love about that, but then there's some people that might prefer traditional shooting stuff going on. Might be a bit disappointed with that. Yeah,
that's what I felt. I felt, at that point, just show me what's going on. Just show me people falling off balconies. I want to see it. I don't want to be able to kind of visualize it in my head. I paid money to watch a film. I want you to show me. Those kind of bits kind of let me down. But it's still it is a fun film. That's the key thing here. I guess it's a fun film. It's a summer kind of film. I mean, it's not done that well in the US box office, but it should. Yeah. It should. I think if they obviously go ahead and make a sequel and Guy Ritchie's back on board, I think they can go even bigger and crazier. But I think to start with, I think they've done the series justice, a bit like Brian De Palma did for the very first Mission Impossible. There's no guns. There's not too much flash about it. There was the amazing Tom Cruise kind of scene that became iconic later on, but it's you have to set the scene somewhere, and I think they did a good job doing that. But that's about it.
Okay. Well, for me, it was I thought it was a brilliant film. Really, everything was very easy to follow. I was really happy to be put back into the sort of 60s era, and
being brought up back then. Yeah, it must be good to go get a flashback.
It was nice to see that sort of thing, and of course I had a friend I still have a friend that was really into the Man from U.N.C.L.E, and he loved that sort of really overly British stuff, and it was nice to see all of that again. You don't get so much these days. People aren't proud to be British anymore, but this goes back to a day when people could be proud to be British. The lead girl as well was quite good. A very action-oriented girl. She knows what she's doing.
Yeah. I personally think if I was to score it, it's about 6.5 or 7. I think it is a fun film. It looks great. It does look, the way it's shot and everything. It looks amazing. Guy Ritchie at the helm as well, and the star cast. I think they just gelled. That's the one thing. The two guys just really worked well together, and they could definitely be the men from U.N.C.L.E. What about yourself?
Okay, I'm going to give it a 9. I'd say go and see it. Don't go by the trailer. The trailer was weak. I mean, it didn't really get me excited at all either. But once you get into the film, I really enjoyed the film. it's a solid film for me. Definitely a 9.
Solid summer blockbuster. That's what you say.
Yeah, totally. I mean, better than the blockbuster. It's just a good film. You've got to see it. Got to see it.